Hey, 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 everybody. It's Peter here from Strong Healthy Women, and welcome to Talking Wellbeing TV, where we share hints, tips, and advice about the foundations of wellbeing, which are move, eat, and live. And as normal, I have the lovely Sally Ann with me. How are you today, Sal?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Primed and ready to go for a Monday. So
Awesome.
started the day off with a woohoo. But it's deteriorating a lot. But that's okay. We shall get through it.
We will.
So as I was getting ready, yeah, we definitely will. As I was getting ready today, um, I shut the door behind me, and what happened was I have all these cards, and one card just fell off, and so I have to share this card with you. So here it is, ladies. Probably can't read it, but anyway, I shall read it to you. It says, "You and only you are in the driver's seat of your life." And I thought, wow, that's exactly what we want to talk about, isn't it, really?
It
You are in the
is.
driver's seat. So well, I really wanted to talk about like why is it important to you? And we started talking about this yesterday in the weekly wrap up, where some of the ladies that we were giving shout outs to, they have taken those steps forward. But what they're identifying is the things that they now can do that they couldn't do, or that things that have been improved. Like, running out of breath when you go up the hill with your wheelie bin, as opposed to no longer getting out of breath and being able to do it easier. And so we started talking about writing down all of the reasons or all of the things that you're noticing that you're not so good at anymore, or that you wish you could do. And now, I'm a big fan of a journal, and I honestly think that even if you never look back at your journal, it just gets everything out on a piece of paper and allows your mind to be that little bit calmer. So, have you ever sat down and written out the things that you couldn't do or that you're struggling with?
I've never sat down and wrote down what I'm struggling with. Well,
Mm-hmm.
no, I will phrase that. I have started doing that again. So I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
process of writing my 50 reasons why. And keep in mind,
Okay.
we did this, I think, at the beginning of our 28-day challenge back in
We did.
September.
Mm-hmm.
September. So I haven't
September
finished
it
my 50.
was, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't finished my 50 reasons
Okay.
why. But I keep adding to it when I notice things. So when you notice those little
Okay.
things, what was the other day? Something happened the other day, and I thought, oh, that's going on my list, and I can't even remember what it was. It was something little that I noticed,
Yeah.
but it was like, okay,
Okay.
well, that's starting to sneak in. I don't want that happening. So that's now one of my whys.
Gone on the list. So what's the number? What are you up to now? Do you know what you're up to?
I think I'm up to about 29, 30, around that mark. And
Okay.
I will
Okay.
write.
Terrific.
I did share this with on one of our lives a few weeks ago as well. So it could be something general that I have, but then I break that down as
Yep.
well into more whys type thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So what we're talking about here is a little technique that we use, which is 50 reasons why. And so we're not expecting you to write down 50 reasons, like right now, because
Yeah.
that's going to be a real struggle. Yeah. So what we get you to do is to write down 10 reasons why. 10 reasons why your health and your fitness is important to you, or they could be 10 reasons, 10 struggles that you have, or 10 challenges that you have. So it doesn't matter whether it's what you want to achieve or whether it's the things that are causing you some level of concern, as long as you're starting to write these things down, so that what happens is when you write these things down, you're 42% more likely to achieve something. So when you write it down, that's a really positive thing about it. The other thing that happens is that you start to really identify the categories or the areas that are really tricking you up. So you might find that it is going up hills, or you might find that it's going upstairs. You might find that you've got some pain in your knees, but the reality is that that pain doesn't have to be there. It's a matter of learning how to really engage your glute muscles so that you're not pushing into those kneecaps. So there's lots of different things that you could write down when it comes to why. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, add to that as well. You know, it can be something as simple as struggling to tie your shoelaces up. So you've gone from shoelaces or even boots, you know, winter boots. We all love our winter boots. To going, well, that's too hard. So my only option now is slip-on shoes, because I don't have to bend over or struggle to get my shoes on. You know, we've had a few ladies like Diane, you know, 2 weeks into the session, and that she was driving to our Fit Flex session in the morning.
The workout.
She'd mentioned it to you when she got there, that, you know, she was like, oh, I don't want to be up this early. Why am I doing this? But then linked it to the fact that she could put her shoes on, and that was 2 weeks after starting. No, that is exactly right. And it's those little things that we don't really think about until it becomes quite difficult. So Mum bought a new freezer on the weekend, a new fridge on the weekend, and so we picked it up and we took it over, and so we moved out the old fridge, put the new fridge in, and I said, oh, grab a dustpan, I'll clean out behind the fridge. And she says, oh my goodness, how dirty is it behind there? And I said, oh, that's okay. Most people have, you know, it's dirty underneath the fridge. She said, yeah, but years ago, well, I used to actually move my fridge. I used to pull it out and I'd clean underneath it when I was spring cleaning. And I said, seriously? Like, so I'd love to know, does anybody still do that? So, and so Paul said to her something or other, and she said, oh no, I can't do that. I can't get on my knees anymore. Now, she doesn't have anything physically wrong with her knees at all. It's just that she now has that attitude that she can't get down that way. So, and I think,
and is not prepared to do anything to make a change. Sorry, what was that, Sel?
I said we allow that thinking to creep in and to become a part of our routine in our life.
Yes. I know that when she bought this fridge, the guy said, do you want the extended warranty? And she goes, and I'm standing there in my head going, I know what she's about to say. I'm waiting for it. And then she went, no, I don't need the extended warranty. I could be dead by then. It's her standard response, you know. Bless her little heart. Cotton socks, So, and look, Sal, I honestly believe that there are two types of people. We either tell ourselves that we're a certain age and that we can't do things, or that we have this attitude of being able to do things and to give it a go. So when I look at young little Edward, who was here, you know, playing around, who's 2, nearly 3, you know, and I watched him. He just went, I'm going to the tractor now, and off he goes. And, you know how big tractors are and how little kids are, like little 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. And I watched him get up there, you know, and the foot goes here and the foot goes there. And he really, really concentrated, and you could see him using every muscle in his body. You know, he wasn't thinking about anything else except for the fact that he wanted to sit on that tractor and he wanted to drive that tractor. That was it. That was his whole entire focus. And I think sometimes we lose that focus, that ability to just hone in on what it is that we want.
Yes. And so, we were talking about this with my daughter, remember, the other week with her, because she was starting tumbling again. And she's always done gymnastics, probably right up until she was maybe 11 or 12. And this was backflips and somersaults and back somersaults and all sorts of stuff she could do. And she went to this first tumbling class, and she's 15 and a half. And she had that fear. That fear has crept into her, you know, as young as, you know, 15 and a half. You know, but, you know, back when she was
it does
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there was no fear at all. This is what we need you to do. Yep, okay. And, you know, she would be doing it.
I had a photo up on my Facebook page a couple of weeks ago where I'd taken a couple of grandkids to the park down at Springfield. And they have this massive, so there's one section, a climbing bridge, where you can climb up the bridge, and then there's another one that has the ladders up, and then you climb up through the ropes up the center of it. So it's this peak thing, and then it has 2 different types of slides, or slippery dips in my day. And so one's this spirally one, and the other one's the straight down. And so the kids and I were on the straight down one, and then they said, let's go down this spirally one. And I went, yeah, okay. But what happened is I got up a great pace, you know, like I'm just like, because I've got the slippery pants on, I'm just going straight down this thing. And I thought, I'm never going to stop, because they have, you know, just those small boards at the bottom of it to actually stop. And I'm thinking, I'm never going to stop. I'm going to end up out on the other little section. And so I put my foot down. Big mistake, because I twisted my ankle, and I thought, oh, that happens to be the one that I had broken all those years ago. And I went, that was so stupid. Why did I just not, you know, just lay back and just let it go, which is what kids would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They just allow that exhilaration to keep going. Whereas I thought about, I'm not going to stop, so therefore I'm going to hurt myself. But the reality is, what I did, I hurt myself. So I should have just went in the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think what's really important here is to really know that your life is in your hands. It's in your control. We can all want something very different to what we have. But if we don't step out of it and we don't make changes towards moving forward, then it will never change. It will always be exactly the same. So one of the things for me is I really seriously struggled to get my heart rate up. And so going up hills, like when I'm mountain hiking and things like that, I can get my heart rate up doing those types of things. So I really have to concentrate. I really have to put in that big effort to get that heart rate up. I mean, I'll get my heart rate up when I'm exercising and I'm running a session because I'm talking at the same time, but that's very, very different to getting your heart rate up when you're actually, hello, Gracie, when you really, really, want to get that good high intensity interval training out. So I really have to focus on that. Do you have anything happen like that, Sal? Do you struggle to get your heart rate up at all?
Oh, I do. I do.
Great.
So
you do.
Mate, this is Gracie, my three-legged cat, and she just adores Peter. Every time Peter comes over, she gets in Peter's car and just sits in the front seat, ready to go.
She wants to come home with me. Yeah,
she does.
She does want to go home with
me. Yeah, I do. But going back to you've just used a word. Sorry, my cat distracted me. Talking about, you've got to want to step out of that comfort zone, and it all comes down to choice. How often do we sit there and go, I wish I was fitter, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that, but we don't. It's a choice. It's either yes or no. And you have to own that choice, because as we were talking about yesterday, it's that choice. Yes, okay, well then there's one step that way to that choice you've made. So you just make a choice.
And I think what sometimes happens, though, Sal, is we think about those big goals. We might have, for example, we might want to lose 10 kilos in order to, look fabulous in a pair of shorts or whatever it is. So we focus on that 10 kilos. That's a big goal. And so that in itself can create levels of distraction, or those reasons, excuses, if you want to call them, things that are going to pop up that are going to stop us from taking that step forward, because it's too far out. It's just something that we go, oh no, that's too hard. I just can't do that. Yeah. So instead of bringing it back to thinking about, well, what is it that I can't do now? And what could I easily try and do? How am I feeling about something? So if we bring it back to the feeling or the action, it's basically a more actionable step, which means it's easier to achieve. We can see results for it. Have you ever set a goal in that manner, when it was more actionable as opposed to more focused on a number?
Not so much. Well, it would be actionable, but I've brought that goal back. I think we have this, or we have this big goal, because most of the time when we're goal setting, it's what do you want in the end? I want to lose 25 kilos. Okie dokie, let's break it down. And I flip the switch for myself and I go, okay, my goal tomorrow is to do a strength workout and go walking for an hour. That's my goal tomorrow. Yeah. And I'm not worried about what my big goal is at the end. So if I achieve my goal tomorrow on Tuesday, then on Wednesday I'm setting that same goal and I'm going to achieve that goal because I achieved it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking at this big ginormous 12 months of this goal that is, front in my face type thing, and I'm just focusing on the next hour and a half tomorrow that I'm going to be working on. Yeah.
And the other thing there, Sal, is that you're creating a level of consistency with it as well too, because you're going, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Here's my action for tomorrow. And so, but because I did it today, then I'm going to be able to do it tomorrow. So there's that level of consistency about it. And consistency will win all day, every day when it comes to motivation. And look, that's an excuse. It is totally an excuse that we hear all the time. I'm just not motivated. Well,
you don't need motivation.
You need action. Yeah, that's right. You need to take the action. And whether that action is just simply, standing up from your desk for 5 minutes. That's action. Whether that's
Yes.
putting on your joggers, that's an action. So those actions can be very, very small. They don't have to be really big. There's those actions are things that you could write in your journal as well too. Here's some of the actions I'm going to take. I think
Yes.
also on the flip side of that though, what's important is to think about the obstacles that are going to happen. So what are the things that are going to distract me? Because that's when you do need the action items. Because we know
Yes.
that there are certain things that will get in the road, and that's just life. And so when we can cater for that and know what we're going to do, then that means that that's not going to totally derail us from achieving that goal of whatever it happens to be: fitter, healthier, weight loss, happier. It could be any of those things. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks for the
And
thumbs
keeping
up.
the thing too with working, trying to figure out those obstacles too, when you're doing that, for my example of setting that goal for
Yeah.
tomorrow. So I know tomorrow that between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, I've got to take my daughter to school. 11:30
Mm-hmm.
till 11 to say 12:30, I'm working. So I've got a time period
Mm-hmm.
between 9 and 11. I've got 2 hours. That is
Yep.
where I'll fit a workout in. So I'm looking and seeing what's happening tomorrow. Because in all
Yeah.
honesty, we do not have our 24-hour day is not filled with back-to-back commitments. We say that we're
I think
busy,
sometimes. Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
you could fit in a 20-minute workout
Yeah.
after dinner, before dinner, get up earlier, get up 20 minutes earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where, though, it is a matter of you taking that driver's seat, because what you're seeing there is that your work commitments are more important. So you're going to work earlier, and you're working all day, and you're not getting home till later when it comes to work. So that's your number one priority in your life, is that work commitment that you're making. And your work could be really, really important, and it could definitely be something that's critical to life. But it's also, if something was to happen to you tomorrow, then you're not going to be able to do that job. So your health, your well-being is more important than that job. So, and I keep saying that 5 minutes is better than no minutes at all. And it's so true. If you're working from 6 a.m. in the morning through to 9 p.m. at night, and then coming home and going through your evening routine, you're not getting a lot of sleep. But if you can just get up 5 minutes earlier and do 5 minutes of something, you will start to feel a lot better. But that's not something that you can sustain. So, going to bed late, getting up early, and only having so many hours sleep is definitely going to affect your well-being.
Yes.
The science shows that 5 consecutive days, I think it's 5 consecutive days of 5 hours or less sleep, you're automatically going to put on 800 grams, I think it is. So, and your stress levels have got to go up. There's no doubt the stress would have to be increasing with that as well too. And so it all comes down to those 5 pillars, those 5 action items that we all need to take every single day. And that is to have some type of structured movement in our daily routine. It's to eat healthy, so to eat real food rather than food that's processed. And this is something we were talking about the other day, that I was looking at all the plant-based and the vegan stuff. You know, Mum was buying some frozen meal, and I said to her, do you know what that is? That was the very first ingredient on the packet. And she said, no. And I said, well, guess what? Then it's not real food. Let's put it back in the freezer. And look, and that's a really good way of starting to eat healthy. So if you're someone who is eating processed food, packet food, then pull it out and see whether over 50%, that very first ingredient is over 50%, and if it's a food that you recognize. And if you do, well, great, it's got some real food in it. But if it hasn't and it's not over 50%, then it probably needs to stay on the shelf or in the fridge or freezer.
Yes.
So then your third thing is to get that good quality sleep. And look, I could really bang on about sleep. But I think that the number one thing that I would say in regards to sleep is, for many of us, we might be working or we're sitting playing on our phones, and then we get up and we go to bed. So think of their phones, think of the computer that I'm looking at right now. Think of these things as being the same as the blue sky outside. So what happens is our sleep hormone, when it starts to kick in, it needs to have that blue light less and less. So if we're looking at screens, be it a TV, be it a computer, be it a tablet or a phone, that's equivalent to us standing out there in the sunshine and the bright light. So we need to switch those machines over, or that technology over, so that it's not emitting that really bright light. And we need to then take the time to allow our body to wind down. And I think that's the number one thing that we don't allow. And I know that Paul does this. He gets on his computer of a night time and then he goes to bed and he goes, I had a terrible night's sleep. I couldn't get to sleep. No, that's because you weren't ready for sleep, because your body was wide awake. You needed to just create that 15-minute, 20-minute routine and allow yourself, your body, to know that you're now in sleep mode. The number 4 is stress and handling stress. Now, that's a whole big thing in itself, but I love the technique that you use. Do you want to share that with everybody?
My stress technique with my journaling.
Your breathing and your journaling.
Oh, yeah, my breathing. Yeah. Yeah, I stress a lot. I don't stress a lot. Yeah. I'll go to my journaling first, because, we're huge on journaling. I was an on-again, off-again journaler. So I attached it to a habit, which was, brushing my teeth at night. So I'd keep my journal in the bathroom. And as soon as I brushed my teeth at night, that's when I would journal. But my breathing is, I come down to that basic. Nice inhale.
Yeah, it's got it.
Nice exhale. Yeah. Nice inhale. Exhale, and it seriously calms you down. Going through all this COVID stuff, especially in the supermarkets, and it's just every man for himself.
When you can't get to it.
And I'm like, and I could stop myself. I would just stop in an aisle, pull my trolley over to the left. Nice big deep breath.
Yeah.
And I do that in the car as well. If I'm getting stressed in traffic, I do that in the car as well.
One of the, most, I suppose, famous breathing techniques is box breathing. And it's a Navy SEAL technique, but it's taught to our first responders and those people who are under serious stress, And it is just an inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then exhale for another 4, and then do that for 4 times. So you're regulating it. So it's just, creating this box pattern. And it really does seriously help calm you down. So breathing is the number one go-to when it comes to stress. Yep. Sorry, so you're going to say something?
With the breathing as well, because you're activating your mind and centering to keep that counting, inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhale for 4. You're bringing everything just back to you, and you're just recentering and, for however long it takes you, whether you're there for a minute, whether you're there for 5 minutes, it's just everything is back to you,
Yes, that's exactly right. And then our final one is what's known as NEAT. And you're probably going to know that as incidental movement. So we do tend to sit. I know that, if you've got one of these things, it's going to keep telling you to get up and move if you're sitting too long. So that's always a good thing. But the more you move during the course of the day, the better off you're going to be. And so they are the 5 techniques that we need to, put into our daily routine. So it's just a matter of looking at what time we have available and how we can fit those things into life. Yep.
Can I just say,
all right, so
the ladies, if anyone's out watching, put it in the comments and let us know, out of those 5 things, how many do you practice every day?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. So one of the things that we're focused on this week is the beginner quick start guide. So we've put the link up so that you can grab that. That's got 14 days of workouts in it. So that's going to get number 1 covered off for you. But I think the most important thing here is to think about why this is important. So think about the things that you can't do. Think about the things you want to be able to do, and just really start to write those down. And know that that little card I pulled out for you before, which is you and only you are in the driver's seat of your life, is that you have the choice. So you get to make the choice. You get to make the decision about what you do on a daily basis. And that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Yep. All right, Sal, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, as always. See you Wednesday, ladies.
Yes, see you Wednesday, ladies. Take care. Have a great day. And, we'll be here talking about another topic on Wednesday. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sal. Bye.
Bye, Peter.